Hello, welcome to the Metro MLS webinar titled How to Create and Use Custom Hot Sheets in Flex MLS. In this video, we will review the different ways you can create, save, and use hot sheets within Flex MLS. So let's begin. So first, let's start off with what a custom hot sheet is. A custom hot sheet is a hot sheet that you create based upon whatever it is that you'd like to keep track of as far as listings coming in new, expired, sold in an area that you can automate. Okay, so let's say, for example, I'd like to keep track of two-family, single-family, and condo listings in the River West area. And as the solds happen, I'd like to know about it when I check on it. Okay, so what we're going to do first is I'm going to show you how to create a saved search hot sheet from full search. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at full search. And if you don't have full search in your menu favorites up here, just click on the menu here and go to full search here. So here I'm going to choose the property types that I want to keep track of. So I want to keep track of single family, two family, and condominium. Now, if you've been to a training here, we typically recommend not searching multiple property types at the same time. But in this case, all I want is area. So I'm not putting in any other search, specific search details. If your hot sheet is going to be including beds, baths, acreage, that kind of thing, then you want to separate the property search types out. All right. But in this case, I'll combine them. And then I want to keep track of active and sold. And I'll go next, current, active, and sold. We'll do Milwaukee for the county. Then I'm going to go to the map tab so I can draw the River West neighborhood on the map. Okay. Now, there's a lot of neighborhoods in Milwaukee that you may not know what the borders are. You may know the general area, or maybe you don't, but we can help you with that using the overlays here. If you click on the overlay button at the upper right-hand corner of the map, you'll get this menu. And underneath the MLS heading, you'll see this, Neighborhood Maponics. So when I left click on that to select it, you'll see these gray areas appear generally over the city of Milwaukee. So as you scroll down or you zoom in, you'll see the labels for the neighborhoods pop in. So as we're zooming in, you can see Bayview, Walker's Point, Third Ward, Yankee Hill. Okay, so River West is up this way. So that's the area that I want. So what I can do is basically leave this neighborhood overlay on and just kind of trace over it this way. All right. So now that I got my River West here, I'm going to trace over it to create my shape. So I'm going to come over here to the search areas box and click on the new search area button. That'll open up my drawing tools there. I'm going to select the polygon. And then I'm going to come over here. I'm not holding down my mouse button. I'm just positioning my mouse in my starting position. Kind of pretend like you have a pencil and you're about to start drawing the shape. So I'm going to single left click my mouse button to start it and let that mouse button go. And I'm simply going to use my mouse to draw the line. Now I want to stop this line and start a new line. I'll single left click, and then I'll just kind of do that every time that there's a rise or a fall. I'll do the single left click just to trace along the border there. All right, so as you see, I'm coming down to an area, and because the map is not in the view, it won't let me finish completing my shape to go a little bit further down. If you ever run into a case of this, you can always use the arrow key on your keyboard, one of those 4 arrow keys. So I'm just going to tap that down arrow key on my keyboard once so it allows me to move my map so I can finish drawing it. So now that I'm done, I'll double left click my shape. All right, so everything that I wanted included in this hot sheet for River West is here. So I want to track single family, condominium, and two family properties. Okay. All right, so now that I've got that in here, I can come up here and I can click on save because I'm not interested in seeing the listings. And I'm going to give this search a name. So I'm going to call it SF. I'm going to start with River West. SF for single family, 2F for two family, condo, hot sheet. And you can name it whatever you want to, okay? So after I've given that hot sheet a name, I can put notes in about the hot sheet if I want to. I'm not going to, but I can. And then under additional search options, if I like, I can change the time range what I can use to be considered new for listings coming in. The default is 24 hours, but you can change, actually type in that field and make it a number and change it to hours, days, minutes, or months. I'm going to leave it at 24 hours. Then I'll hit finish. So now when I hit finish, it takes me to the show my saved searches screen. So that's where your searches are saved that aren't attached to a contact. They go to save searches. And if you were to log into the system and you wanted to go directly to save search, you click on menu, and underneath the search section, you click on save search, and it brings you here. Okay, so there's that hot sheet. So when I select it, you'll see over here that you'll see the parameters for that hot sheet that I've got in there. If I had entered in a search description, you would have seen that there. And then I can add it as a favorite if I'd like to. So instead of looking down the list, I may have a whole lot of hot sheets and it's going to put it in alphabetical order. Maybe I want it closer to the top because I'm going to plan on using it often. So I can use this link that says not a favorite, click to add. So that pops it up to the top in my favorite section. So if there's searches or hot sheets that you're going to use often to make them more easily accessible, you can add them underneath your favorites so they're closer to the top. Okay. All right, so I'm going to select that again. And you also get a created and updated date here. So you can see when you actually created and saved the original search and when you made updates to it. All right, so now underneath the results section, you've got these 4 links and then you've got a view totals. If I click view totals for results, it's going to give me the totals for those 4 entries. Okay. So what's going to happen here is that view all will give me the total search results for all of the search parameters. So whatever's currently available in those search parameters, it will put it there. It will give me what was considered new in the last 24 hours, and there's 2, and I can click that and see those 2. And then view new since. When you create a hot sheet or a save search here, this will automatically backdate it a month. So this will always be a month from the creation date. So you can see what was new within the last month on the same date. Okay. And then this one's important. Reset the time and view new since. This is the timestamp that you're going to be working off of. So when I click this reset time link here, what it's going to do is it's going to date and timestamp it for today's date at the time that it is right now. So when I come back in to run this hot sheet, it's picking it up from where I last left off. There's no gaps in it. So I'll show you how that works. So I'm going to click on the reset time and view new since. So it's going to show me those that were new from a month ago. All right, so there they are. All right, so now when I go back over into Save Search, when I click View Totals, you'll see it's 0 unless something's come in at that quickly. So select your hot sheet, and then you'll see that these 2, this one will be 0. So this right now, you see the date and time stamp here. So the next time that you come back in to run this hot sheet, we'll pick it up from the last time that you ran it. So that can be a day, that could be 3 days, could be a week, could be a few weeks, couple months, whatever. It will pick it up from the last time that you left out of here. So there's no gap in between. All right. So there, as you can see, there's 0. Okay, but you can still view the total results of the search parameters and view new in the last 24 hours if it's there. All right. So this was the Save Search hot sheet that we created from Full Search. You can create a search from Quick Search or Map Search, but when you save it and not attach it to a contact, it will always be here. Searches that are attached to contacts, you have to go into contact management and view those. Those are different than your regular save searches. So this is one way that you can run this Save Search hot sheet. Okay, so it's picking it up from the last time that I left off. Maybe I'd like to manipulate the time frame. Even though it's giving me, for active and sold from this time going forward, maybe I'm curious to see, well, what came in as active and sold from a month ago, from the beginning of the month. I wouldn't be able to do it in this screen here. I can do it from the hot sheet function. So if you wanted to manipulate the time up to 45 days in the past, you can go to Menu, and underneath My Market, click on Hot Sheet. All right. So once you're here in the Hot Sheet menu, you want to click on Custom Hot Sheet Settings underneath Custom Hot Sheet. All right. So we're still on the Save Search hot sheet. So here's that hot sheet over here. So any searches that you have saved in Save Search will be accessible underneath the Save Search block. So there's our hot sheet that we just created. So now we want to adjust the settings for that. So let's say I wanted to go back a month. Okay, so I'm going to do the start date. Going to switch that to the first of the month, same year, and leave it as today's date. I'm going to do my start time at midnight because that's the beginning of every day. So we're starting October the 1st at midnight to today's date, and this time hasn't happened yet, so that's fine. You can leave that as it is. Then I'm going to come over here and choose my events. I wanted to see what's new, what was new listing since the beginning of the month, and what sold since the beginning of the month in that River West area, all right, for those property types. So now I've got my history events selected. I've got my date range that I'd like selected, and you can go back. Here it is. That's the reminder. You can go back 45 days maximum, and the time. So now to run this selected one, you hit Run, Save, Search, Hot Sheet. So that brings you to this screen. So since the 1st of October, there's been 9 new listings, and there's been 13 sold listings. And you can, again, like you can on your search results screen, you can go to the Details tab and look at the history, look at the tags. You can do all the stuff just like you can your regular search results screen. Okay? And you're not just stuck to the events that you've got saved in the search. You can look at other things that are within that history event list there if you wanted to check expireds. All right. All right. So that was the Save Search hot sheet that we just ran. Okay. So that's one type of hot sheet. The second type of hot sheet is the 24-hour standard hot sheet. So I'm going to click on Menu, and then we're going to come back underneath the My Market section and click on Hot Sheet. So we're back to this screen. So this is the hot sheet that we're focused on right now, the 24-hour hot sheet. So this, you can run it up to 6 counties at one time. This will give you all activity that happened in a particular county for a 24-hour period. Okay, so let's say I wanted to see everything that happened in Waukesha County. I can click my mouse in this box, and it'll present me with a scroll list that I can just scroll down, or I can just simply type in the first few letters of the county that I wanted to search, Waukesha. And there it is, and I select it. Okay, and again, you can do between 1 and 6. I'm just going to leave it at Waukesha, and then hit Run 24-hour hot sheet. So this is the hot sheet from yesterday to today's at the ending time. So from yesterday at 12:15 to today, 12:15. So it's showing me there were 29 new listings that came on the market. 9 of them went active with offer. Canceled, we don't use in our MLS, so that will always be 0. There's been 30 sold in the last 24 hours, 4 expired, 13 pending, no withdrawn, 10 extensions, 4 back on the market, 22 price changes, and 2 delayed listings. And just to see any of these entries, you just click on what you want to see in the drop-down menu, just like that. Okay? And again, you'll see here in the thumbnail area, you've got your property type, and it mixes all the property types. It's basically just giving you everything that happened in that county for a 24-hour period. So you can see your columns that you've got here. Okay? So that's the 24-hour hot sheet. The other hot sheet is the quick hot sheet. Okay, quick search hot sheet. So to access that, again, we'll go back into Menu. Underneath the My Market section, we'll come back to Hot Sheet. Okay, so we're coming here to the Custom Hot Sheet section here. So we're going to go into Custom Hot Sheet settings. Now, like we were in here before, this was our Save Search hot sheet. This is the Quick Search hot sheet. So each of these boxes here, Save Search hot sheet and Quick Search hot sheet, are their own hot sheets, but the controls for the history event, the date and the time, apply to whichever one that you're using. Okay, so let's, for example, I wanted to see what vacant land is currently came on the market. I want to see some information about vacant land. All right, so I'm going to start from, let's say I want to go about a week back. So I'm going to click my little calendar icon, and I'm going to see what started at the beginning of the week. And I always start my hot sheets at midnight of whatever date, unless I'm trying to narrow down and look for something really specific. Okay, so here I'm going to do vacant land. And then if you wanted to enter in a price range, you could. I'm not going to. I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to look for, oh, let's do Jefferson. All right. You can choose the MLS if you want to just narrow it down to our MLS, if you want to look exclusively in another MLS outside of our MLS, or you can use both. Jefferson is an area that rides the border between us and South Central MLS, so you'll get a good amount of listings in either one. Okay? All right, so let's say I wanted to see what was new for vacant land since the beginning of the week and, oh, maybe what expired. So we'll do new listings and expired. You can select them all by using the select all button if you'd like to. So once I've entered that information here, I'll click the run quick search hot sheet button. All right, so new listings since the beginning of this week. There's my date range for vacant land properties in Jefferson. So you can see them here. And we've got one WireX listing, and you'll see the little indicator there. So that's new listings, and then there were 2 expired. Okay. So that's the quick search hot sheet. So if that 24-hour standard hot sheet is a little more than you wanted, you can always do it for a particular property type in an area if you wanted to narrow it down to a certain price range if you'd like to. Now, another option that was in that screen that I didn't show you, so I'll go back there, is this Run Custom Hot Sheet. What this will do is this will run the very last hot sheet that you ran. So that hot sheet that I just ran for vacant land for the new listings that expired going a week back, that's why it's 0 here. So that's what that button is. So basically, if you remember what hot sheet you last ran using these custom hot sheet settings, and that is the hot sheet that you want to check again, then you can click Run Custom Hot Sheet Setting, and it will grab that last one. If you need to go in and choose or change something, maybe you wanted to do a Save Search hot sheet for another Save Search, or maybe you wanted to switch this around for the Quick Search, then you want to choose that Custom Hot Sheet Settings link. Okay? So this will conclude our webinar for how to create and use custom hot sheets in FlexMLS. If you have questions on this or on anything, you can give us a call, anything FlexMLS related, you can give us a call at 414-778-5450 or email us at support@metromls.com. Have a great day and sell lots.